Steam has over 50,000 games, and I found 8 of the absolute worst rated games on Steam and tried them out. So this first game is called Night Online, and it's the 92nd worst rated game on Steam. Now when I started this game, it actually gave me a warning saying playing it might be harmful to my health, so I'm kind of seeing why it's rated so bad. Okay, it's been about 10 seconds, I've already downloaded a virus I think, so I'm gonna move on to the next game. So in this next game, Race is the 33rd worst on Steam. You spawn in a train tunnel and have to walk across an icy tundra in order to find this one guy. After walking along the train track, I stumbled across 2 buildings where I spent about 5 minutes trying to get through this door. I know it's a door, how do you open it? But then I just gave up and tried to scale the wall, which didn't work. That didn't work. I then realized that I was in the complete wrong place and found an open door in the house next to the building where I stole some food and accidentally fell asleep for an hour. But then I found this crucial message which I was too lazy to read. Apparently it literally told me where I was supposed to go, but no worries, because after a few minutes I realized there was a map at the bottom right corner and I had to get to this point here. I spent ages running through the hills. I didn't know who this man was, but I had to save him. After an eternity of searching, it finally happened. I found the guy. He was a bit dead by the way, but whoever killed him just so happened to not see his secret message lying on the floor. I buried the guy and climbed around this tower for a bit, accidentally fell asleep again and robbed his shelf. But when I opened the map, I saw that the next destination was around 80 light years away, which would have taken me about an hour to get to, which was not happening, so I just left. Sorry mate, but you were already dead. Overall, not too shabby a game, didn't give me a virus, we'll take it. Now this next game costs an entire 24p, although that's quite possibly the greatest trailer I've ever seen in my entire life. With an intro like that, I could overlook the whopping price tag. Upon loading the game, I was greeted with the longest title sequence known to man. This intro has been going on since the Mesozoic era, man, just hurry up. I then finally spawned in a courtyard with a bush and a football. Now this game was supposed to be a shooter game, but I had literally no items in my inventory and there were none anywhere. Also, this walking animation was absolutely abominable. Like, what is this? If you walk like this in real life, you need urgent medical attention. I clambered around some rocks for several minutes and then suffered several broken bones from falling off this cliff, but somehow I survived, so it was all good. I then found some abandoned ruins, jumped off another cliff and found an air hangar, but then I finally saw this supply drop come out of the sky. Thank you to whoever was in that helicopter, I needed that. When I made it there, I finally got a gun, and this weird border spawned in the sky. However, it was at this point that I realized that I was actually the only person playing the game, and I could literally do nothing at all. So, yeah, I left that game, -5 out of 10 next. But, this next game was absolutely pristine. Just look at these images, what an incredible work of art. Except, no it wasn't, because I sat here watching the game load for half an hour and it never did. So instead I found a much better game called Autobahn Police Simulator, where the graphics actually looked somewhat alright. I spawned in this police station and found quite possibly the strangest running mechanic on the planet, apart from that one obviously. I took an entire minute trying to open a police car door, but then I was in and nothing could stop me. Well, apart from this railing, which I crashed into 5 times, and the police department actually said I was so bad at driving that I had to restart the game. Oh well, I got in the car again and I was off. I mean, I was driving on the wrong side of the lane, but I fixed that by doing the greatest driving maneuver ever seen. I reckon I should join Formula 1 after that one. After driving for a bit more, I crashed into a lorry, then crashed into both sides of the road, then got alerted of a traffic accident. Like, I don't think I should really be the one solving traffic accidents, but oh well, it was my time to shine. Or not, because the accident was on the other side of the motorway and I couldn't actually jump over the dividers in the middle or over anything for that matter. I tried driving around to the other side, but there were no openings for me to drive through. I then saw a flashing light in the distance, which I thought was a fire, but was actually just the rear lights that are on every single car ever made. What is going on over there? No, that's just a normal light, I'm dumb. Then I crashed into a pole and got sent back to the station. This time I tried to actually go into the police station, but I got stuck in the door and nearly went into epileptic shock from the screen flashing. I escaped the door before I would have fallen unconscious and found out I could spin in a circle, which was a bit too much fun. I tried going around to the other side of the station, but my screen went into cardiac arrest and started flashing at 500 frames per second, which I'm not going to show because I don't want to kill all of my subscribers. Speaking of subscribers, hey, subscribe please, that would be nice. My channel's kinda got a bit desolate, I can't lie. Anyway, I then tried to run onto the motorway without a car, where I immediately got ran over, which apparently was my fault because it sent me back to the police station. Although miraculously I survived. I didn't really see much else to do in this game, so time to move on to the next one, but this game was pretty solid. Okay, I don't mean to alarm you guys, but this next game's a horror game. I mean, I think. I'm not really sure, honestly, but don't be too scared, as it's the 7th worst rated game on the entire platform. I was on the moon next to a crashed space shuttle, and some woman was yelling at me through the radio, although it was too quiet to actually understand what she was saying.
Hello? Respond.
I'm responding, hello, how are you? Anyway, I decided to leave the space shuttle. There were these weird yellow pinpoints in the distance, with the closest one being over a kilometer away, but I had learnt from my laziness in the first game and decided to make my way there. As I got closer to the target, more and more asteroids began hurling towards me, although this one was just rolling on the floor. I don't know what was happening here. Oh no! That was the closest one, yeah, oh no. Ah! That was definitely the closest one, yeah. Oh my god. My screen began filling with clouds of blood, which hopefully won't get me demonetized. That would be a shame. I also had an oxygen limit in the bottom right corner, and it was on 70%, but I could probably make it. I finally made my way to the big crater where the target was in the very center. At last, I finally made it. I got sent into a cutscene with flashing lights where apparently I was in the simulation the whole time. Did the game just finish? I spent half an hour running through the moon to just... Okay, great, wonderful news then. 0.5 out of 10. Okay, so the next games either cost way too much money or contained about 3 pixels in total, so I decided to skip to the second worst rated game on the platform. Flat Out 3, Chaos and Destruction, whose name sums up the game quite well as the cars travel about 12 million miles per hour. This game is gonna take 55 minutes to download, oh my god. It seemed to be a classic racing game, but the turning capacity of my car was absolutely abysmal and I immediately crashed into the wall and died on the first turn. After a minute, I was in 9th place out of 11 races, which is kind of a weird number of competitors in a racing game, but whatever. On lap 3, I discovered you could actually use this boost mechanic the whole time, so I tried it out and immediately nearly died. I didn't crash somehow. Also, can I just ask why this racing track was in the middle of a suburban neighborhood? Like, I've probably incurred billions of dollars in property damage since I started the race. Well, I finished 7th, which I'll take considering the other cars had some kind of superhuman ability to turn the corners. There's not really much more to say about this game, just a standard racing game really. Does it deserve the number 2 spot? Probably not, but I kinda expected more from a game that took an hour to download. Okay, so here we are, the absolute worst rated game on the entirety of Steam. It's called War of the Three Kingdoms, and when I loaded the game, I realized that the game was actually completely in Chinese, so that might be a slight problem, but we'll keep going. After clicking play, a cutscene played where these bizarre looking men threw a frying pan at some random girl and knocked her unconscious. The men then got hit in the head by meteors, and this explosion animation is absolutely abominable. They just put a green screen of an explosion and couldn't even crop the borders correctly. Also, asteroids typically travel at around 40,000 miles per hour, and these guys don't even seem to be bruised from the damage. Anyway, I was then teleported to some random battle where I couldn't even do anything. I think I won though because the text was green. I was then sent to another battle, but this time I could actually somewhat control it. My troop seemed pretty good apart from this guy who spent the whole battle running into a wall. Not really the greatest military maneuver, but I'm not gonna judge him. After that, my antivirus software gave me a warning, but I kept going anyway, but not for long as my game crashed. What did I just press? I was then finally able to actually play as a character. I could walk around this town and I accidentally entered this one guy's house. He didn't really seem to care though. I think he might have been unconscious. I abandoned his house and found this geezer who I instantly left and went to the final house where this lady was just chilling. Then I found this goofy looking guy who seemed quite confused judging by the question mark floating on his head. To be honest, I didn't really see how to progress in this game, all I can tell you is that there were more and more bald old men appearing left and right. Like, I was genuinely concerned this was gonna morph into some horror game where you get chased by angry middle-aged men. I walked around the same map for another 10 minutes and couldn't find anything until finally a new arrow opened. Or apparently not, as when I went through, this lad was still waiting inside. Not this bald old man again. I quit this game, honestly. I probably shouldn't be complaining considering I don't actually speak the language of the game, but still, should it be the worst game on the entirety of Steam? Probably not. But who am I to judge? Anyway, subscribe and I might try some more car Steam games in a part 2. Or maybe not. I certainly don't want to see this guy again.